Sheila and
Heather
in the Gangsta Goodies kitchen, y'all. So Heather has stopped by to show us how to make a
authentic Trinidadian curry.
Y'all hear that? Authentic Trinidadian curry. I've never had that, y'all, so y'all know I'm ready to eat, right? Y'all know I love to eat anyway. Today's ingredients for our Trinidadian curry chicken dish contains Trinidadian curry, potatoes, butter, chickpeas, some Saison, y'all. What y'all know about that? Some chopped onions, some garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, black pepper, salt, a little fresh sage, thyme, and of course, chicken. And so, what is going to be our first step?
Our first step is to make some ghee.
Okay.
So we put olive oil.
Okay.
And butter in the bottom of the pan, and I just kind of toss a little bit in there like that.
Okay.
And then we will put a couple of pats of, there's a butter. Thank you. A couple of pats of butter.
Okay.
In there, and
so by combining the olive oil and the butter, you just created ghee. Okay. Yes. Now, can you tell people what ghee is so they know?
Ghee is it's clarified butter with olive oil. It's what a lot of Indian dishes use. That's what I know about it.
Okay.
And instead of straight oil, it's used to make it's the base for all the dishes. It's also used to make flatbreads and different kinds of Indian foods.
Okay. Okay. And Heather, can you tell people where you are from? What is your ethnic background?
I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. And I am, I guess, what we call in Trinidad a callaloo. I'm a mix of many things.
Okay.
I'm Indian and Black and Scottish and Irish.
Okay, so you're a callaloo.
A callaloo.
Okay, y'all hear that? Okay. I've never had this experience. I'm always interested, to find, people's heritage and their culture, especially as it relates to food, y'all, because that's the one thing that we all have in common. We love food. Now, what are you getting ready to do what's that?
This is Big Chief authentic Trinidadian curry.
Okay.
It's a mild version, but it comes in different versions.
Okay.
And so now that I have the ghee made,
okay,
I'm going to add the curry, because you never sprinkle curry on things. In Indian cooking, you have to caramelize it, and that makes it, brings out the flavor. So now I'm going to put some curry in the bottom of this.
Y'all see that?
Pan.
How many of y'all, raise your hands if you sprinkle that curry on that chicken? You see my hand raised? So Heather is telling us Trinidadian way, that's not how you do it.
Right. So you add a nice coating to the bottom of the ghee.
Okay. Oh my God, it already smells good.
And then it
can't wait to eat.
It brings out the flavor.
Oh,
I make sure I mix it in really nicely. And so you can see the color of the curry is already changing from that yellow to a nice golden brown.
Yes. We're going to let y'all see that.
If you smell it, if you just take a whiff.
Oh my God.
It brings out the flavor really well.
Oh my God.
Okay, so you do that, and it's looking pretty good.
It is.
I'm going to add...
Before you add anything, can I show the viewers what that looks like? So that you guys can see what the ghee and the curry and all that looks like together. Okay, so here we have the ghee and the curry. Look at that, y'all. Wow.
See the nice brown color it takes on? It's not yellow as it was in the powder, because it's really bringing out all the flavor right now.
Oh my God, y'all, that looks fabulous, and it smells phenomenal. Oh my God, y'all, it smells so good. Now that she's added that onion,
And sometimes you can add fresh garlic or onion, whatever you like.
Okay.
I like to do either.
Okay.
Let it go, and I'm watching it so it doesn't burn. I'm gonna turn the fire down a little bit from a lower medium.
Go back up.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
And now I'm going to add the chicken.
Okay. So you tossed all those spices that we showed you all. Heather tossed the chicken in that, and wow, look at that. Nice. I'll move this out of your way.
And we just mix it up to coat the chicken. Make sure it's nicely coated in our curry.
Ah,
and
okay.
Ghee and onion mix here.
Okay, I see. Look at you. Look, she in here getting down, y'all. Oh my God.
Really well.
Smells so good. Y'all know I like to eat. Okay.
So it's nicely coated.
Yes. So you've just coated the chicken in that, and it turned kind of like almost like a paste almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a paste.
Okay.
And then I can add my chickpeas.
Okay.
Throw those in there.
Okay. I love chickpeas. I use them in
I love
salads and everything.
I just like to eat them. They're so good.
They are good.
And I make sure those are coated nicely.
Okay.
So, and then what you would do is cover it for just a few minutes.
Okay. Okay.
With a lid.
Okay.
And let it cook.
And let it cook. Okay.
So.
And okay, so we're gonna cover it and let it do its thing for a few minutes, and then we'll finish this cooking process, y'all. Wow, look at that. Here you have the chicken all coated with the curry paste that Heather made. This is curry for y'all, Trinidadian style. Okay, y'all, so Heather, what's the last few things we're gonna add?
So we're gonna add some potatoes to our chicken and chickpeas in the paste. And we're gonna stir that up a little bit, give it a few minutes, and then finally we'll add some liquid and cover it and let it simmer down, and we'll have a nice saucy curry chicken.
Nice, nice. Okay, I'll hold the lid for you if you want to go ahead and add the. I got it. Add your potatoes.
Add the potatoes there. Mix that
Oh my
up.
goodness, y'all.
So they get coated really nicely.
Nice. Now let me ask you this. Should I have cut the chicken in smaller chunks?
No. You know, in the islands, I started doing this with chicken breast because that's what my kids liked. But, you know, in the islands, in a Trinidad pot, you're going to have chicken with bone in it.
Ah, okay.
So this is easy, but you can actually put boned chicken
in there. Okay.
And it's really good.
Okay, okay.
It's just harder to demonstrate with chicken with bone.
Absolutely.
You do the same thing.
Okay.
Just with chicken with bone.
Okay.
And they cut it up. They'll take bone chicken and they'll chop it up into chunks.
Yes.
So you don't even know what it is, but it's got bones in it.
Yes.
And then that's what they do, and they like that.
Ah, okay. Gambians do that too. I've seen that done. Okay, so then we'll add, Miss Heather will add some water, and then when we come back, we're gonna sit down and taste, y'all. And I finally get to taste this dish, and I'll tell you how fire it is, and then we're gonna talk about trauma. Heather is a licensed trauma therapist. Did I say it right?
I'm a certified clinical trauma professional, but I'm a licensed professional counselor.
Got it. We're going to talk about trauma, y'all. We're going to talk a little bit about how trauma impacts us, how trauma impacts people of color, and what do we do with trauma when we find ourselves in those positions. So we'll be right back, y'all. Here we have our final dish, y'all. Curry chicken, Trinidadian style. Look at that. Hey, y'all, we are back, and I get a chance to taste Trinidadian style chicken curry. I'm excited. You want to go first?
Okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Oh my
beautiful.
God. It does. Look at that.
So we normally serve it with some bread, but
okay.
We're having it without bread.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Do you take the bread and then just use that as kind of your fork to eat it?
Yeah. Kind of dip it in there.
Uh-huh.
It's good.
Uh-huh. Okay. This looks delicious, y'all. Y'all see that? Okay. Alrighty. Oh, I didn't get a potato.
Chickpeas.
Yes. I love chickpeas too. There we go. Okay, y'all.
So what do you think?
It's certainly. Oh my God, I can taste the curry better.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's like it's in the chicken and everything through and through. Oh my God, y'all.
It's not just on it.
It's not just on it. It's in it. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna take another bite. Oh my God. It's really good. It is really good, Heather. Oh my God. Wow. That's delicious.
Thank you.
We say it's fire. FIYAH.
This is comfort food for me.
It is. It very much is. You know, one of the things I always ask our guests is to share like a fond foodie memory or something like when you were growing up, you know, and how what that means to you, that whole process of cooking and being in the kitchen and eating and all of that. And I would imagine, being from Trinidad, you have a different experience than those of us who were born here.
I really don't.
Okay.
I think the culture of my experience is very much like what it is for us as women of color.
Okay.
I grew up with a grandmother who cooked all the time,
Okay.
a mother who cooked all the time,
Okay.
Sunday dinners, and the girls were in the kitchen helping. And so I remember that experience of learning how to cook. And the first time I cooked a meal for my family, it was a decision I made while my mom was at work. I was 13, but I knew what to do because I had been helping. So people gathered in the kitchen, talked in the kitchen, you know, cried in the kitchen, everything in the kitchen.
Everything. I say that all the time too. I was telling somebody I learned how to play jacks in the kitchen. You know,
when we were growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, and I remember my mom. I'm the youngest of 3.
Okay.
And she always had some kind of family, you know, staying there, living there, whatever. And for Christmas one year, she took the bottom of her china cabinet, you know, those 2 little doors, the old-fashioned, and she created these little 2-story townhouses, one on each side for these little tiny dolls that they had back in the day. And it was my dollhouse because that's the dollhouse she could afford to build for me. And that's what I had. So I'd sit on the floor and play while she cooked.
Wow.
And I thought it was the best thing ever.
Absolutely it was. Yes.
And if I had a friend over, there were 2. Your dolls could be in that one and my dolls could be in that one.
Oh my God. And Mama's in the kitchen doing her thing. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. We wanted to talk a little bit today about trauma. That's your space. You're licensed and certified in that area. And as we look at what's going on in our country, especially in the light of George Floyd, you know, all of those things are rushing back at us in high speed, you know. And so I often wonder how trauma impacts Black people, Black women, Black men. And I know that it impacts everyone, but because of the things that are going on in our society right now that we see up front and in our face, I'm specifically talking about African Americans and how the trauma of living in a country that oppresses us. How does that impact us? How do we get from under that?
It's complicated. I want to tell a little quick story.
Okay.
And this is not, I think trauma is in the DNA of things.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay.
And I think for African Americans, it is in the DNA.
Okay.
I think for people of color, a lot of places in the world, it's in our DNA. It's passed on. Oppression is passed on.
Okay.
And I like to tell this story because it's not just people. It's living creatures.
Okay.
And I have this dog, and of course, we are not dogs. We're not animals. But I'm a dog person, and I have this puppy that someone showed me this puppy and said, this puppy is emotionally sensitive. It doesn't trust this, this, and that.
Right.
The story of the puppy is someone dropped off the mama,
Okay.
who was a pit bull,
Okay.
at the Casey Pet Project. They found her in the garage with her puppies. Okay, so she had given birth clearly overnight.
Okay.
And this was one of her puppies. she was allowed to have her puppies, nurse her puppies, everything. As soon as they were older enough, about 10 weeks, the puppies were put in foster home. This puppy had a great foster home, was spoiled to death. But this puppy acts like it's been beaten and been through something. And it hasn't. So it inherited that from its mama, who had been through something. If that happens in a puppy, what about people? Our brains are so much more developed, so much higher,
Absolutely.
right? Our DNA is so much more. So this puppy still doesn't, he's had a great home with us, spoiled, but he doesn't trust. He's very careful about who he trusts. He's very protective.
Right.
He came by that without experience. What happens to us? So we have history, DNA, and experience. Okay? And experience is there even if it hasn't happened, because vicarious trauma. When we think about things that have happened, natural disasters, or even in this city where that hotel, you know, all that collapsed and people died and all of that, that created a lot of trauma for people. Seeing it, witnessing it. 9/11 trauma for people witnessing it, people who didn't lose anyone or die, first responders who ended up cleaning up after it, trauma. Right? So 400 years of trauma, of being owned, of not having anything, of being in a position where you have to work harder. You know, having a conversation with someone recently, I had to explain, I have 2 master's degrees. I almost have a PhD. And that's a whole other story.
I love it.
And I had to explain, like, I feel like I've had to work harder than other people. And I always feel that way. We were talking about honesty in job interviews. Like the next time, if I ever have another job interview, which I'm not likely to have because I work for myself, I would say when they ask me to tell them something about my career, I would tell them I've had to work harder than other people. And that I always feel like I'm not good enough. But I have all this education and I know my stuff. Why do I feel like I'm not good enough? Okay. And so, and I think women within our culture, we have learned to handle it better. We somehow know that we're in, because we're the, you know, we do it. We pick up pieces. Right? And even men within our culture who do it, I think they don't feel as self-assured in their ability to do that. As a woman of color, I know if the whole world fell around me, I'd be able to take care of myself and my family. I've done it. Right? But I still feel like I have to work harder, but I know I can do it.
Of course.
I don't know that our men know that. Even when they're high functioning and high performing. So it's trauma, right? And trauma, as I was explaining to you earlier, there are different kinds of trauma, different diagnoses. But the PTSD diagnosis, this is something that changes your brain structure, right? And that is one of the things necessary, one of the criteria for having that is that you have to have been in fear of your life when the trauma happened.
Wow.
But if you're born fearing for
your life, right?
It's in your DNA.
Yes.
So you see a police car. Me as a woman of color, I'm a full-grown, educated woman. I'm 55 years old. I know how to handle people. I know how to talk to people. And I still react. If I see a police car behind me.
Yes, I do too.
Like, I could not make it through a stop. And I know how to talk. I'm a professor. I'm a counselor. I've done these things. But I still, you know, can't catch my breath. Okay?
Yes.
And I think these are the things that you have to realize. It's like this ingrained trauma, traumatic experience, fear for our lives. So are we all walking around with PTSD? Maybe on some level. Yes.
Wow.
It's a sort of inborn PTSD. So then what happens if we have trauma for now in life? We have traumatic experiences. What would my dog be like if I didn't have him and he got abused? I bet he'd be really difficult to handle. People. So you have experiences. I've had traumatic experiences. where I feared for my life as a woman. I know people who have. I know men who have. Men of color. Now you add that on top of this inborn thing. There was a famous psychologist, Carl Gustav Jung, who was a psychoanalytic psychologist.
Okay.
He was a psychiatrist, actually.
Okay.
So from the era of Freud, like the old days.
Got it. Okay.
Jung said that we have these things that we're born with. He said there were these archetypes that we're born with.
Okay.
This is DNA stuff. We know from birth what a mother is.
Yes.
We know what a father is.
Yes.
We know what a shadow is. We know fear.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so these are things, again, he talked about that. This is, I believe this is what's happening here.
Absolutely.
The shadow archetype. Our people are born with it.
Yes. And it's like, how do you function past that? You know, a couple of weeks ago, I had a guest on whose son is a scholar athlete, has never had a run-in with the cops, you know. He and some of his friends who are also scholars and athletes and upstanding young men in our society, they are leaving a peaceful protest and they're attacked by, just out of nowhere, KCPD.
Yeah.
He watched one of his friends be slammed to the ground, shoulders dislocated. And of course, what do you see that? And she said, you know, his first reaction was to run. And then so some people out there would say, why would he run if he didn't do anything wrong?
He didn't want to get slammed.
He didn't want to get slammed.
Yeah.
So he had already knew, based on that DNA, that there's reason for me to be fearful now.
But we're hardwired. You know, we were talking about fight or flight. So, you know, you have two parts of your central nervous system. One controls fight or flight. It's primitive. It's either, it all comes down to I'm either running from a bear or killing a bear. Okay? We're not all prepared to kill a bear. Fight or flight is activated. We're going to run.
Right.
That's a hardwire.
Yes.
So now I'm fearful because somebody got hurt.
Yes.
I'm going to run because I don't want to get hurt.
Exactly. Exactly. He said he jumped over the fence, and after he got over the fence, there were 3 KCPD officers standing there with their guns pointed at him, locked and loaded and ready to go. And he said to his mom, he said, I just knew that they were going to kill me. He said, I could see the look in their eyes.
That was traumatic.
That was traumatic. And I said to her, please make sure he talks to someone about that.
Right.
And because that experience will,
you'll
never
stay
be the
with
same.
you.
Yes.
So when you have a traumatic experience, even with the fear for your life, you have what's called an acute stress response.
Okay.
If it persists, your reaction more than 6 weeks, then you are most likely dealing with PTSD.
Wow.
And so, you know, getting him in with someone who can teach him how to work with that trauma.
Yes. It was his first encounter.
It's
with
essential,
the cop.
though. Yeah. You could still have that.
Yes.
You know, and I spoke about feeling the fear myself. My brother is a retired police officer. He was a hero policeman in New York City. My nephew, his son is a cop. He's a good cop. I shouldn't be afraid of cops.
Right.
I had a relationship with someone in New York for years who was a homicide detective. I know good cops. Why am I afraid of cops?
Right. Wow. Heather, how can people contact you? Because the deal is that we have to first recognize that we have a problem, that we're dealing with trauma. And there are so many of us out there that are dealing with it, but we don't know what to do with it. And so, and as you, I'm sure, know that in the Black community, talking about going to see a therapist is that's like talking bad about somebody's mama. Okay, it's like, are you playing the dozens? You talking about my mama? But our mental health,
we have to normalize it. Mental health is like any part of our health. You know, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of our mental health like our physical health. And that's a challenge too with the Black community, learning how to normalize physical health, but normalizing it. One of the things that I've done as a practitioner is I've spoken out about my own experiences and my own mental health, because people look at me respectfully, and if I can speak on the fact that I've been there and I have a therapist, that helps. But normalize it. Talk about it. Don't hide these things anymore.
Exactly. Don't hide it. Okay? Let's talk about it. Pookie, Shaniqua, I need you. Come on. Sheila, Lynn, whatever your name is, whoever you are, we have to talk about these things, because talking about them, then we can begin to know how to manage it.
Yeah. Tell somebody if you have that tightening in your chest for
Yes.
no reason.
Yes.
Or if you're depressed and you don't want to get out of bed. Or if somebody has done something to hurt you, it is not family business and it's not a secret.
Exactly. There are no secrets.
No. Anytime
Yes.
someone asks you to keep a secret, it's bad.
Yes.
Unless, except like, you know, your brother says, I'm going to propose and don't tell her right now.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
it's a surprise party. But secrets,
Yes.
when they involve pain, that is not a secret.
That is not.
Secrets are bad.
Yes, they are. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for I will never cook curry the same again, y'all.
You can do this with anything. Any kind of meat, vegetables, anything.
Wow. Okay. I love it. It is it's so good, y'all. And I'm getting ready to eat some more. I wish I was here to have some with me. And Heather, we'll put your contact information up so that anyone who is listening, who wants to talk, who wants to understand what's going on with them, why they're feeling a certain way, so they can reach out to you.
Yes. And I have great colleagues at the private practice.
Awesome.
So there are some really good people there that
Awesome.
understand as well as me.
Awesome.
There's only one me.
Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. So y'all give Heather a call, okay? We got to get a handle on this, because not until we get a handle on it and we know how to manage it can we heal and move forward.
And I know some great practitioners, as I said, and I know great practitioners of color.
Awesome. Awesome.
Because it helps to talk to someone who looks like you.
It does. It does. It does. It really, really does. Because sometimes, and you know, I'm guilty too. We're like, she don't know my story, you know, because she doesn't look like me. You know, and so there is some, even with you and I, there are some things that are unsaid. And there's a saying that said, what's understood don't need to be said. And because you're a woman of color, I'm a woman of color, so there are things that are just, we don't even got to say them. Because it is what it is, you know? And so being able to connect with someone like that, because this is your mental health. And so you have to, there's got to be someone you trust, you know, with that. Because this, again, it's your mental health. And so, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for
I
having me.
really, really, really appreciate your time, sharing your tradition. You know, I've never met someone, a Trinidadian, in person, y'all. So,
Because I remember saying Trinidad and Tobago.
yes, that's right. So, what's the difference?
Because Trinidad and Tobago is an island. There's a big island and some smaller islands, but a lot of times Americans say Tobago.
Ah,
So I'm like,
it's Tobago.
Tobago.
Tobago. Okay, it's on my list of places to go. So
Beautiful.
Oh my God, it's on my vision board.
Yeah. Let
Yes,
me know if you
yes.
go. I still have a sister and lots of family there. So.
Nice.
And they never meet strangers.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. You all enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to hook up with Miss Heather for your mental health needs, especially if you're dealing with trauma. Even if you're not sure what it is, Miss Heather can help you straighten that out, okay? And get some clarity. And so, peace out, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Mwah.